People have said that Marines are ordinary people that do extraordinary things, and that was no truer than when applied to my old team and teammates. So we had this extraordinary experience in Iraq, and it came with consequences for all of us. We all suffered mentally, emotionally, physically as a result. But we knew we didn't want it to become the defining moment of our lives.
We understand the concept of duty. And that's something that is not learned. It's something that's in our DNA. It's a flame that's inside of you. And I think that, unfortunately, sometimes, you know, after you've separated from the Marine Corps or separated from the military, whatever military branch you're in, that flame can, it dies down a little bit, it flickers a little bit.
I was inspired by my fellow veterans as I was going through Walter Reed, going through physical therapy, when I was an inpatient, when I was going for treatments or what have you. I always ran across other veterans who were in much more dire straits, injured much worse than I was, struggling mightily to get past those injuries, and watching the staff and their families fight with them. And so this really inspired me. I said, I've got to get up and do something extraordinary again. I've got to get back to that.
You have a duty. You have a duty to yourself, okay? You have a duty to your family. You have a duty to your friends. You have a duty to fellow service members to keep yourself mentally and physically healthy.
Too often when we're injured or when we're going through hard times, we try to withdraw from engagement, withdraw from our families, withdraw from our community. Well, your fellow veterans are all going through the same things and the same challenges. We're all trying to hold down a job or get a job or deal with families or deal with people who don't understand the brutality that lives outside of the United States.
Segment off the horror and the tragic part of Iraq. There were some great relationships and some great adventures that were had, and we still laugh about them today. And I think that's one of the things that I think happens with a lot of veterans is they don't realize that it is okay to look back with fondness on their time in that environment. It is okay. We all lost friends. We all lost buddies. We all lost perfect strangers. But they were brothers and they were sisters, and we would want them to be happy had it been us. It's not about fixating on that time. It's not your responsibility to fixate on that time and hold that sorrow and sadness in your heart. Those people are remembered. They're remembered every day. It's not your responsibility to bear that burden. So live your life. Look back on it fondly. Find those fond memories.
And that's something that TakePointNow provides. It's giving you an outlet. It's giving you a mission. It's giving you a way to feed that flame. Iraq, Afghanistan, GWAT, all of your experiences does not define you, and your life and your exceptionalism is not over. You are still that person. It is still ingrained in your DNA to be exceptional. That flame will not go out. It will always be there, but you need to make it brighter.
There were great men who didn't get to come back to their families. And so I didn't want to do the disservice of not living a full life. But unfortunately, I fell into the trappings that I typically do. I can be a lazy guy. Life is easy. All you have to do is wake up every morning. Nothing requires you to do anything more than that.
Well, your fellow veterans are all going through the same things and the same challenges. We're all trying to hold down a job or get a job or deal with families or deal with people who don't understand the brutality that lives outside of the United States. And when you're together, you're better able to handle that, because then it becomes a team effort everybody picks up a little piece of the burden, and it gets done before you know it. So get inspired, and then get with your fellow veterans. That's what you need to do. That's the secret to success. Once you've done that, the rest is easy.
I want to have an interesting life. I want to have some more stories to tell. Iraq is, it's there and it's part of my past, and that's, it was a moment in my life. But I finally reached that point where Iraq isn't the defining moment of my life. Iraq is kind of acting as as a catalyst. Yeah. Acting as a catalyst for those new experiences. It's not going to be the high watermark of my life. That's going to be the benchmark. Everything has to be cooler than Iraq.
Think back to the people you met in country, overseas, at boot camp, at your MOS school. These people you were impressed by what they meant, what they stood for, what they strove to be. You're one of them. So go out, don't forget that. Remember, that's what I want veterans to take away from this, to remember who you are and to go off and do what you do.
Watch what we're doing and get inspired. And I think that is a really fun thing to think about. To know that you are helping somebody, a veteran, who's, had challenges, just like we've had challenges, and suffered, just like we've suffered, and maybe that person could pay it forward again.
So what I want other veterans to get out of this, and what I want them to see is, as you see me do this is something different and extraordinary. And I want other veterans to understand that if I can do something like this, then they can get up and tackle something new. They can get up and go to school. They can get up and set a world record themselves.
After, Iraq, when we all came back, I remember sitting in the detachment center, and they had a conversation with us, and that's when I first, heard the, don't let this be the defining moment of your life. And I remember thinking to myself, absolutely not. I mean, this is going to be the jumping off point for me, and this is where I realized that my life is what I make it, and I can do anything that I set my mind to.
I can look at my life and say, today is the first day of the rest of my life. And that's what this means for me. I want to find those other veterans that are in that weird, terrible, lonely, dark place. They still have so much left to do, so much left to give, so much fight left. I want them to remember it.